we go with the November seeds. So first of all, I've got my calendula. Now, 4 of the seeds we're going to sow all in the same way, and then the sweet peas we're going to do separately, and I've got another video for that for you. So calendula. Now these ones are Pink Surprise, so they are going to be a beautiful orangey pinky shade, not your bright orange typical kind of marigold colour, but much prettier than that actually, I think, in my opinion. These are actually, I think, these are Scabiosa. I think are my absolute favourite seeds of all time. They look like little seahorses. And all we're going to do is, so for me this time around, I am going to sow 10 of each. I've got a 40 cell tray here. I've got 4 packets of seeds I'm looking to sow in this tray. You might choose just to do one little strip or one strip this way. However, if you think about how many plants you actually want to end up with, then that will help you think how many to sow. So if you don't have the Grow to Give Garden Workshop, that is your best way of figuring out how many plants you want, and therefore I always sow about double the amount of seeds to the number of plants that you want. Okay, so here I'm going to sow 10 of those, 10 of those, 10 of those, and 10 of those in this tray, just to show you how. So all we're going to do with these calendula is just drop one onto the surface, one if you can, onto the surface of each module. Now if you're sowing in a seed tray, just spread them out about this far apart, right? So I don't know, 5 centimeters or something apart. And then make sure, well, not most importantly, but really important, that you pop your label in. Okay, calendula done. Now we're going to come to the muskmallow. Oh, there you go. It's the first time we're sowing these ones actually, but I really thought they looked beautiful. They're great for pollinators, and it's always nice to mix it up a little bit, right? And they're hardy, so you can sow them now. Perfect, I thought, for us to try. So again, with these we're going to sow them the same way. So we're just going to put one on the surface of each cell. Next we've got dill, and we're going to sow these in exactly the same way. Okay, so you notice how we're just sprinkling them onto the surface of the soil. Now do make sure that your soil doesn't have loads of lumps and bumps in it, right? Like I've seen some people in our group sowing and they show me their trays and they're like, why is nothing germinating? It's because they've used, to be quite frank, cheap nasty compost, the cheapest you can buy, which means it's got big lumps and bumps and bits of bark and God knows what in it. So I use Silvergrow by Mellicor. It's used by the RHS. It's peat free. It's not massively expensive. It's not the cheapest brand out there, but it's really good quality compost. That's what you need for your seeds to be able to germinate. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So again, I'm just going to put one into every module. Lastly, we've got Melope, and this is keeping it real, guys. Look at the state of this packet. So I came out here, put it down, turned around to get my labels, turned around and realised I'd put it in a pile of water. So I frantically ripped open the packet to get the inner packet out. Now luckily this is slightly waterproof, this. So I've managed to get them out, dry them off quickly so that these seeds don't get damp, because you do not want damp seeds. I won't be putting them back in here, right? I'll find another envelope. This is what happens in real life, right? Everything gets soaked like that. Now if you take that inside, if you need to keep an eye on the sewing instructions, just take that inside, dry it off. You can put your seed packet back in there, stick it on the radiator, it'll be absolutely fine, right? But don't let your seed packets get wet. Right, so again with these, and we love these at the Floral Project, these are some of our favourite flowers. So these grow massive, tall, with beautiful, great big trumpet flowers, and they will come in pink and white. They're a mixed selection here, so you get the best of both worlds. And you never know what you're going to get. More white, more pink, who knows, right? It's a surprise. So I've just put one in each of these cells again. Now, put my label in. Actually, put that there. So what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to get my compost. Again, just make sure that it hasn't got any lumps and bumps in it. Just run it through your fingers, right? Or you can sieve it if you feel really like you want to be really on top and proper about the whole thing. And then you're just going to lightly sprinkle your compost over the top, just making sure that each of the seeds doesn't get knocked, but it has just a gentle light covering. Okay. Now, if you find, like I have here, so you still get bits of bark and things, even in, you know, classy compost, if you like. If that happens, just go around and pick them off, right? Now this seed tray, so what I will now do is I just want to, you cannot believe, right, you sow this one seed tray, all I'm doing now is firming in the compost to make sure that the seeds have contact with the soil. So you just need to be careful that you're not lifting them out with your fingers, but they should be covered by compost, so you should be all right. Just do it carefully, there's no rush. This is supposed to be enjoyed, this whole seed sowing business, right? It's a time for quiet, peaceful, kind of rhythmic, meditative seed sowing. That's what we're looking for. It's hard to believe that this one little tray, from this one little tray, you are going to get literally 100 posies, if you wanted to, out of this one tray of sowing 10 of each of these seeds. Isn't that amazing to think? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lightly water this, and I'm going to do it with a drinks cup, right? A sports cup, because if I did this with my watering can, chances are it would be too strong and it would shove all of the soil and all the seeds to the side of the cells, and I don't really want that. And I'm not sowing millions of seeds, so I can take it easy and just be really gentle, and I literally just hand water. The other thing you can do is fill up the bottom of this seed tray here with water and just leave the whole tray to sit there and sit there for half an hour, and it will soak up the water from the bottom up. That's another way of doing it, right? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go take it into the kitchen. I'm going to hand water it. Then I'm going to put this plastic lid over the top. If you haven't got a plastic lid, don't worry, you can put a plastic carrier bag or even cling film over the top, right? But all this is going to do is it's going to keep the warmth and the moisture in the tray, okay? So it doesn't all, the water doesn't all evaporate out, and it's keeping a nice warm, moist, damp environment in there. I will keep those on my kitchen windowsill. Keep that on now, until they start to germinate. And as soon as any of these seeds start to germinate, I will bring this outside to the greenhouse, and I will introduce it gradually to the outside world, if you like. A few days, you know, out in the day, back in at night, out in the day, back at night, if I'm feeling very good. Otherwise, what I will do is I'll move it outside, I'll put the lid on for a couple of days, and then I'll take the lid off. It depends. If we suddenly get a cold snap, I'll be much more careful with them. If it continues as it is as I'm videoing this, which is in the last week of October, and the weather stays as mild as it has been, bringing them outside is not such a big jump for them. So especially as we're trying really hard not to put the heating on at home at the moment, so it's kind of not too dissimilar temperatures inside and outside at the moment. Okay, so post your pictures, let me know when you've sowed your November seed kits. And these, if all you ever sowed was just these 4 flowers plus your sweet peas, you're going to have so many posies. It's going to be wonderful. Can't wait to see you all.